What's up, everyone? My name is Sarah, and we just got done celebrating the 51st anniversary here with Enagic, and I am super excited because I ran into another water fam here.
What's up?
So I'm gonna have her introduce herself real quick, and then we're gonna ask her some questions.
All right, what's goody fam? My name is Delaney, and I've been doing this business for the last 4 years, and we just happen to run into each other.
Amazing. We love this. So Delaney, tell us a little bit about why did you get started in Enagic? What is your story behind that?
So I actually started into this business 4 years ago. At that time, I had already tried other network marketing companies. I've been doing low ticket MLM since 2020 when COVID hit, because what do we know about 2020? When COVID hit, everything went online. I was in my 5th year as a college student. I changed my major 5 different times because I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And so I actually saw network marketing as like a way out, because it was my first time ever learning that you could make money in a non-traditional way. So I always thought, being taught, you go to school, you get a degree, you work for 40 years of your life at a 6-figure job or whatever it is, work your way up the corporate ladder, retire at the age of 60, and then you can start living your life. And I didn't think that was for me. I was like, there has to be something more out there. So I got into network marketing through my sister. She actually brought me into it. And in my first 2 companies, actually my first company, I had a team of around 200 people. But when you're in low ticket MLM, it really just depends like with your structure of your legs and things like that. I was only making about $600 a month. So it was definitely not sustainable or duplicatable for me. I know a lot of people that do well in it, but it just wasn't working for me. So whenever I made the switch over to my second company, only about half of my team came with me. Within a month, everybody quit. So I had to start all over from like square one, all the way back down to 0. And I had reached my lowest point in my whole life. And that's when this random podcast guy on Instagram actually hit me up. He followed up with me at like the perfect time. He had already told me about the water, but I was just like, yeah, that's cool. I wasn't even into the health. I was a big soda addict. I drank tap water straight up. I would microwave that stuff too. I was really bad. Like, I didn't care about my health. But whenever he showed me the business opportunity, I was like all over it. And he had such an incredible system, the software, the academy, like they actually like hold your hand every step of the way. So when I got into it, I started off, I just hit the ground running because I had nothing else to go back to. And when I went all in my first month, I made around 8 sales. And so that was a little over $2,200 because I started with what we call like the trifecta. I didn't know that a quad existed or I would have gotten that. But yeah, I started off with all the products in the company at that time. And yeah, I never looked back after that. It definitely have changed my life, changed my zip code, changed everything. It is about, everything,
Oh my gosh, I love that. So one question that I really do have, because a lot of people when they, look at online marketing or want to get started, especially with something like Enagic and high ticket sales, sometimes they may have a little bit of hesitancy or they're not sure. Did you have any of that? And if you did, how did you kind of overcome that?
So actually, when I first got into network marketing, I thought it was super sketch. I never never heard about this way of making money. So I know for a fact that I only got into it because of my sister and I trusted and I know her, right? But if anybody else had tried to come to me with it, I would have totally shut them down. I had 0 social media when I got started. I thought all social media was just superficial. But my sister, she told me about it and I was like, I don't know what this is. I sat through a presentation. She tried to connect me with her 3-way upline, right? And I was just like, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was like, I'm not talking to him. Don't put me in a 3-way with him. Just how do I buy it? I'll do it just to support you. And then I went to an event, and that event is what changed my whole perspective on things. My very first network marketing event is when I actually found out that people are making $100,000 a month
It's
just
possible
in the online space, that it's actually possible. And I had never heard about that before. I thought you only make $100,000. Like that was the goal for a year. Now it's like the goal for a month. Now it's going to be the goal for payroll,
Let's go.
So like, we're really I saw that. And the guy who was on stage that was making $100,000 in a month, he was not educated. You could tell that this guy was not smart whatsoever. He actually was like writing something on the whiteboard and he misspelled like this word. And then like people in the audience were kind of like laughing and mocking about it. And he was like confused about what they were laughing at. And then he like turned around and he saw that he misspelled a word. And he said, this is proof that you don't need to be smart to be rich. And that changed my entire perspective because my whole life I was always told you go get a 4.0 GPA so you can get a good degree, good paying job. And I was like, that was my first mindset shift of I don't have to have a degree. I don't have to be smart, like book smart to actually make a lot of money in this world. And I just was like, mind blown after that.
Wow, I resonate with that as somebody who is in school, and I'm telling you now, unless you absolutely want to and you're going to become a doctor, you really don't need to have a degree to become successful, and create the life that you desire. So, how long have you been in the magic? And share a little bit about what it's done for you. Like, what have you seen? What have you gained from it? And what does your life look like now compared to where you started?
So when I got into this, like I was saying, I was at my lowest point. And being in eNagic for 4 years now, we've definitely been able to grow a team of over 100 people all over the world. And it's very exciting because I think what really hits different is like, yes, I can create a whole bunch of money and success for myself, but seeing other people that I've actually been able to impact through this kind of opportunity, not just seeing their health change. Like I've seen crazy things like autoimmune diseases and like IBS, all the things, right? But I've also been able to witness them totally changing their lifestyle because of the income they were able to create through the business. Like one of my biggest builders, he's at over 50 sales right now, and he's been doing this business around like 3 years.
Yeah.
We met when he was on work release. So he had been in the prison system for 19 years. And whenever we met on Facebook, we had zero mutual friends. It was literally a God thing that we even crossed paths. And he, like, his life was so different than where it is today. Mm-hmm. And it's just so incredible getting to see that. I think he makes more money than me now. He's really great at direct sales, you know? And this guy is coming from someone who has zero influence in the world, right? Because it's so hard for him to get a job. He was working at FedEx when we met, right? Wow. But, you know, in the world system, in society, it's really hard to get opportunities when you're a felon.
Yeah.
But what I really love about this opportunity with this company, they don't care where you've been. They don't care about your background. They don't care about your education. You can make this happen. It's the most fair system in the world. They pay you in an exact proportion to the value that you bring to the marketplace. So getting to see other people being where they're at, working at FedEx, considered a felon and a failure by society, here he's considered way more than just that, his true value.
I truly believe that. And one of the biggest things I think with this opportunity is giving a lot of people second chances.
Yes.
In a world that really, like, society does basically attach your value to how you work through society. Like climbing the ladder, going to work, and we're here. They wanted to create a work of basically a nation of workers, right? They want us not to think for ourselves. So obviously, when you're going and wanting to do something different, that's why people look at us different, and they're like, "What are you doing?" Right? Because people are so blind, just following the system, following the steps, and thinking that there's nothing outside of that, and actually realizing like you can build something different for your life. Mm-hmm. Okay. Next question. What is your biggest takeaway from this weekend at the convention?
My biggest takeaway, I would have to say, is really just the community, because we're so much more than just a business. And then when you come to events like this, you're surrounding yourself with people that are working towards the same vision, and we're all on the same mission, right? Like to hydrate, elevate, and prosper, right? All of us are working on doing that. And it's so amazing getting to work towards the same vision and the same mission. Like we're on a mission to make the world a better place in all three of those aspects, spiritually, financially, and physically. And being around people in this community, it just helps you think bigger, right? Yeah. Because when we go home after this event, it's going to be like you're surrounded by the 95%, right? The 95% who are just employees, they're workers, they are small-minded thinkers. Whereas being surrounded in rooms of people that are all working on the same vision, that are all just speaking life into you, that are able to pray for you, lay hands on you, and just to encourage you and lift you up, that changes the game. Especially, I've seen people that have come into the business, they left, but they came back because of just the community. If they feel complacent in their life and they get around us, it's like when you're around the fire, you catch on fire.
Literally. The community here is absolutely unmatched. And honestly, like, when they say that you're starting a business, yes, it's like basically a personal development journey yourself, but it truly is so important to be surrounded by people that will lift you up and inspire you and see the potential in you when sometimes we can't even see our own potential.
Yeah.
All right, last question is, where do you see your vision going from here? Leaving convention, what is your vision for the future?
So for me, my vision is to have a ministry in every single country on the planet, or in the US first. We'll start there, right? But yeah, we're starting out there. I want to have a healing ministry, deliverance. I think one of the biggest things I believe is that every human being has the human right to have true and total freedom. And what does that mean? And how do you get there? So I mean, true and total freedom physically with your health, being able to take care of your body to where it's able to heal itself.
Yeah.
You know, the way God created our bodies to heal themselves. And then also financially, to create a legacy, to create wealth and leave behind an inheritance for future generations, just like the Proverbs 31 woman. Her household never lacked. And then also, that was financially, and then spiritually with deliverance and having the freedom to break the bondages of Satan and the chains off of your life, so you can actually step into the plan and the purpose that God has for your life. So this really checks all the boxes for me, right? And I know that I'm going to definitely be able to use this as a vehicle to create those ministries that are going to help millions of people all over the world.
Well, I can't top that. That was super powerful, and I'm really excited to see how your vision continues to unfold. So thank you again for your time, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And for everyone else who's watching, if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop a comment. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.